Hi, and welcome to the City of Singles. We're your hosts, Chelsea Beller and
Andrew Landry.
And today we have Olivia Hill.
That's me.
Hi.
What's up?
Never want to step on anyone's intro. I'm always like, where's my kid?
When do I, it's like
do I
double
say my
dutch.
name? Yeah.
When do I come in? When's my time to shine?
And I just never mess with double dutch.
Well, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Olivia Hill is also a comedian here in LA. Mm-hmm. Are you an LA native or are you a transplant?
I am. Well, I technically
Really?
grew up a little bit outside of like the city in Cerritos, kind of near Long Beach.
Yeah.
I rarely meet natives. Everyone I meet is a transplant.
I know,
Especially
same
in comedy.
Oh, yeah.
It's like meeting a unicorn. Like when someone's like, I grew up in LA, I'm like, you exist?
Which is really interesting because I've been reflecting on like the comics I know that are kind of like specifically, I know two others from the 562, and I'm like, oh, it's like even that has its own kind of style.
Yeah.
And I didn't really hang around the Orange County scene as much as I could have. I just wasn't like living close enough to it.
Segue. So dating.
Yes.
Are you currently dating anyone? Are you single right now?
I am in a relationship, and I remember thinking, does that disqualify me from this podcast?
Get the fuck out.
There's coming my flip-flop.
How long has that been going on?
Not long.
Oh, yeah? Is he a comic?
Yes.
Oh,
do we hang out anywhere else?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, I don't spend any.
We were talking about. I'm sick of dating comics, but then I'm like, those are the only fucking people I meet.
Yeah. Because I don't. Ironically, like I went into it being like I don't want to date a comic, but then I also strongly feel like I don't want to date someone I work with, like get a paycheck from. And so I've avoided that situation pretty well. Yeah.
It's hard.
Because you never know like what could happen. I take that back. I did date a coworker once. Anyway, look, I got a lot of stories, got a lot of things, but right
Chelsea,
now
you're the queen of that, aren't you?
Shut up,
dating coworkers.
Yeah.
She tells me about her work. I'm like, this is just a giant orgy. It's just a bunch of love triangles. But then it's like, if I don't date people I get a paycheck with, and I don't date comics, then like who the fuck is left?
Oh yeah. I tried.
After a while, you just gotta be more flexible about it.
Yeah, I'm someone who dives into things.
Yeah,
and so is he.
Good.
That's perfect then.
Well, no, it's good, but it's also like it's very fast.
Yeah,
and
there's no one around to ref.
No,
right?
Whoa.
Alyssa tries. Alyssa's like, break up with him.
Of course Alyssa tries.
Alyssa, you've met Alyssa.
Yes.
You did.
Oh, yeah.
The podcast. Sorry, I was just like outside of this too. Yeah, no, she's my best friend. Honestly, I'll talk way more about her than any boyfriend. This is the Alicia show. But when I met this guy, I was like, Alyssa, if I even bring up the word relationship, I need you to stop me. Yeah, I was like, stop me. I just want to be his friend. Mm-hmm. And then like 2 days later, I'm like, oh, like hanging out.
Proposed.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm pregnant. Well, I was gonna ask. I remember you mentioning on stage, if I can ask, that you're bipolar, right?
My therapist wants to explore that, but I haven't gotten an official diagnosis from a psychiatrist.
Okay. So you might be bipolar.
Right. And it's like I don't. You get 10 minutes on stage. I don't want to go.
Yeah.
And I felt weird about that too afterwards because like a few people came up to me and they're like, me too, and I'm like,
I think I did, and I think I got like not a weird reaction.
I just don't want to. I'm not gonna lie and be like, let's talk about this when I'm not even 100% sure. But it's been something I've like wondered about for like since I was like 16.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. Just because of the thing that made my therapist say, oh, it's probably that is that my life is very cyclical.
I don't know.
Circular,
cyclical.
One of those was right.
Yeah. In terms of the ups and downs.
Yeah.
So she was like, that seems most aligned with this, but it's all like for legal purposes. She can't officially say it, which is why I don't want to wrongly claim it. Yeah. But when you're on stage, you gotta make it
just
succinct.
Get to the point. Just trim the fat. Yeah. Because I feel like a big part of dating is baggage, where you're like, you gotta know this now. You know what I mean?
Right.
I feel like mental illness is obviously one of them, but I feel like when you're dating a comic, that's much easier because comics are so open about their demons, you know?
Yeah.
Like, sometimes I'll date a comic and we already know fucking all of each other's problems from each other's acts.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
there's no awkward conversations, like,
Right.
so this is what's wrong with me. Was that an aspect to this relationship?
Surprisingly, no, but I've been in other ones. Once again, I feel like this is just too soon to tell, but I've been in other ones where it did feel more like a conversation where even though they knew I was a comic and kind of were part of the scene as well, like it still felt like this, like I have to reveal it to you. And now I'm looking at it like I don't want it to claim me either. I don't want to use it as a crutch. Like I want to be able to own like, oh no, that was actually just shitty of me to do. I should have not lashed out at you like that.
That's the great thing about being bipolar. It's a get out of jail free card. Like, I'm sorry I lit your dog on fire. I'm bipolar. It was not me.
I mean, I want to be more responsible than that. That way I can use those cards in real emergencies, you know?
Yeah, you gotta save them.
That's
If you use them too much, it's just... Because I very briefly had a thing with I haven't shut up about this recently, with this girl where, like, everything was cool until the bipolar came up. But it came up casually. It wasn't like an announcement, like, you got it. It came up, like, as an aside thing in conversation where I'm like, well, I'm bipolar. And then, like, things got weird after that. And she wasn't a comic or anything like that. And it was just like, that was the first time, at least in LA, that I'd encountered that in a really long time. I'm like, oh, yeah, this makes some people uncomfortable.
I had a therapist once tell me a different one when we were just talking about like skeletons that you have in the closet. And this is why with comics it's easy because we joke about it on stage, so you know at least everyone's kind of premise and their deal, and you can kind of make assessments. But when it comes to dating real people, my MO used to be like, here's all the skeletons, all the baggage. If you can't handle it now, you won't handle it later.
Yeah.
And she was like, no, you have to like slowly reveal
Olivia,
things.
you're scaring people.
Yeah, exactly.
Slow down.
Like, 'cause she was a therapist who had a daughter, but she was single. And so, you know, she knew that like on first few dates, she couldn't be like, well, this is my daughter, you have to love her. So, and that kind of taught me a big thing about, you know, all really good relationships are like onions where you slowly peel back
They're
layers.
disgusting.
And
They make you cry.
I don't know. I like onions can make food really good.
And they make me cry.
Just like relationships.
Relationships are frustrating. I heard that you're not supposed to say their work, but their effort.
Work sounds negative.
At least
Exactly.
at work you get paid.
Yeah. You're getting paid in sex in a relationship.
You better
Ideal.
be.
Yeah.
Skeletons, get back in
Yeah,
there! Get back in there! Okay.
So, some of your worst dates. Spill the tea.
It's funny because I have had really fun, great dates that have been kind of manic pixie dream girl that I thought were fun, and then the guy is probably like, that was crazy.
Like they were bad in retrospect.
Or like they were like, that was fun for one night,
Yeah.
and I never need that much energy in 5 different locations again. So to me, that was a good date, but to them, they're like, why did you flash me while running down Abbott Canyon? You know, like, so
Because life is a movie.
it is a movie, and no one's around except all those people waiting in line at Salt and Straw. You know, I feel like once we'll spiral into the crazier. But like let's start with this. Okay. I went on a date with a guy once. He was pursuing wine, and so he's like a sommelier, and so he had just passed his like level 2 test or whatever, which is a pretty big deal. And I was like, and I think he had taken me out a few times already, so I was like, hey, let me get dinner for you this time. Let's go to like a cute trendy spot. And I remember I don't think I ordered a drink on that date, and he ordered 3. And it was one of those spots.
Like this guy.
No, but like I was like, I got insecure on a deeper level. I was insecure because I was like, do you need to be drunk to have fun with me? But on a financial level, I was like, we're at a spot where the tip is going to be the amount of a meal, and you just added on 3 drinks that now I have to tip on.
And they were probably wine, I assume. Right?
No, he got like he got like a beer, a wine, and maybe a cocktail. And I was like, wow, what are you doing? Like, and
living his best life.
I guess so. I was like, but then see, I couldn't match those drinks because then I would stop because I said I would pay for it.
Yeah.
And this was like a second or third date, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be a big ticket.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I know your style. You're like, that's fine.
This guy's awesome.
No, I get that. Like,
oh no, I get the financial.
You should match what the person who's paying is doing. IMO.
oh yeah.
Well, and I've realized through experiences that you should match what they're drinking.
What do you mean? What match like the item?
The amount of drinking.
Oh, why?
You know what I mean? I don't. Well, at least for a first, I've been on first dates where I got way drunker than them.
But you were matching what they were drinking?
No, I mean the amount they're drinking. So like, don't have 7 drinks and they're still on their first.
Oh yeah.
And I've learned because I've done that dozens of times.
Yes.
And I'm like, wait, maybe this is a bad idea.
Was it a bar date though? Like yeah. Okay, see that makes sense. I went on a date recently. Man, my life's a blur. It's not recent, actually. LA's such a blur like that. I'm like, oh, I know, that was 2 years ago. Went on a date with this guy where I showed up at the bar, and I had only met him really briefly in passing before, like, messaging to meet up. So I met him in passing. I thought he was cool, but I didn't get to talk to him very much. So we're at the bar, and I get there. I'm sober, and you know, he's sweet. He had bought me a beer, and I'm like, okay. We sit down, and all he can repeat is like, "You're so pretty. You're so beautiful. What do you think of me?" But on a loop.
What do you think of me?
I was like, and then that one, I was like,
what do you think of me?
But what gets crazy is he kept doing it on loop, right? Like, I'd be like, oh, like, so it would go, "You're so pretty. Oh, thank you. Oh, you're so beautiful. Oh, thank you. What do you think of me? Oh, I think you're, like, you know, attractive too." Like, you know, then I'd ask a question like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. It's so weird. Let me turn that off. I'm sorry.
So
Usually it's off. I'm
Jesus
sorry.
Christ.
I know I was late and the phone went off." Okay. Man, I'm not looking better than this guy I'm about to describe. So, and so then I try to ask a question to get to know him. I'm like, "Oh, so, you know, where'd you go to school or whatever?" And then he'd either briefly answer or skirt it and then loop again. He'd be like, "You're so pretty. You're so beautiful. What do you think of me?" And just like a Siri loop. Like, you know when you try and talk to Siri and she just doesn't keep a conversation? And then about an hour into like this kind of like, and I'm like enjoying the compliments. I can't complain. I got a beer from me. This is my first date with this guy. So like, if anything, I'm just like clocking like, this is a thing that's happening and it's interesting. I don't know why the conversation can't move past these things.
Yeah.
And then about an hour in, he starts saying, "I'm the R word." And I'm like, oh my God.
Start saying you're retarded.
No, but about himself. He's like, "I'm."
Oh.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, so that's why the state's been going like this.
wow.
But then, no. But he's not. I learned after the fact.
What?
I learned after the fact. I had gone there and he was like 8 drinks deep. Yeah. But still,
all these guys sound incredible. First off,
Oh my
but I just
God.
genuinely, the fact that I genuinely was like, oh, he's mentally challenged. Oh, what a sweetheart that he's out here on his own at a bar. And I was like, he's so sweet. I would do it, you know? and then it just turns out he was
how
just
weird is it
blacked
a guy
out.
like, I'm gonna tell our mentally challenged, that'll get me in there.
I think I don't know what his move was on that. I think he was just trying to say he was drunk, but it was like coming off as that. But because of the way the last hour had gone,
you
I
thought
was
he
like,
had it literally.
oh yeah, I was like, oh, I've never been on a date with someone who's mentally challenged before. This is really exciting.
Check this off the bucket list.
Right, it's like one of those things that you like write into the bucket list knowing you have the check for it, because it's not like you went out in life being like, I need this, but when you experience it, you're like, I could die now.
Yeah.
This is nice.
I didn't know I needed this.
Yeah.
So I got it.
Because then it started made like me fold on to myself and be like, yeah, Olivia, like, don't be judgmental. They're just like everybody else.
Doing a good thing right now.
Or no, not even like that. Just like, not even like, oh, I'm doing good. It's just like, treat everybody equal, you know? Like a good exercise and equality.
Everything's a lesson. It seems to be a pattern of a lot of guys getting drunk on your dates.
I used to get pretty drunky poo I'm a lush. I would say I'm not easy, but you give me alcohol and I'm a lush. I'm like flirty but I guess that's most people.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
I just remember like 2 years ago, I went on a date with this girl, and this was like at the height of drinking Drew. This is when it was like really a problem.
Drinking Drew.
Yeah.
I like that it has that
But
name.
TM. And she, I think, didn't even finish her first beer, and I literally had maybe 11 drinks, and it was like the best night of my, like, it wasn't a good date, it was just a fun night, like we like bar hopped, and I'm like, this is then the next day I was like, oh, that was just a fun night. I don't think she enjoyed it at all. I haven't seen her since.
That made me think of, I dated a guy who this is kind of an interesting one. I dated a guy, this is so LA, this is such, I don't know if you've experienced this, where they tell you to just meet up. So you are under the guise that these aren't dates until on the third one when they say, oh, and you're so pretty. And you're like, these,
shit.
The M. Night Shyamalan, like, these have all been dates in your mind. I just thought we were grabbing a drink because we were both already at this establishment. Okay. So I dated that guy, and I remember he told me that, like, in his worst drinking days, he would go pick up a 6-pack, like after work, bring it home, drink all 6, and go to sleep. And the most atrocious thing to me about that story is, like, that's fattening, dude. Like, you're gonna sleep on that? Like, you're not even gonna enjoy the drunk? Like, you're not even gonna go out and do that? Like, that's just a lot of carbs. Yeah. That was the most concern. I was like, it doesn't sound like you're an alcoholic. It sounds like you need to hit a gym. Yeah. IMO. But
that's very LA.
Right?
To hear about binge drinking and be like, you're not gonna look good after that.
Because he looked good at the time. I think that had been like several years in the past, but that was him at his worst. And but it was also very LA that, like, I didn't know we were on dates until the third one.
That is a very LA thing.
And then he ended things in the most LA way. He was like, well, I live downtown and you live in Venice. Yeah. So this isn't going to work out.
That's a long-distance relationship.
It is, but, like, if you... And that was when I was, like, working a 9-to-5 job at an office, and I was mic grinding, like, every night all over. So to me, I was like, nah, I could just swing by. I'm downtown on these nights. It didn't seem atrocious to me. Now I kind of get it a little bit more. But to me at the time, that was, like, a really shitty reason.
Oh, it absolutely is.
Yeah. And also because you kind of know it's not the real reason.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's a shitty fake reason. Like, if you're gonna lie to protect their feelings, that is not a good choice for the lie.
And then, double down on the LA. He's just a real LA guy. I was in a different relationship on my birthday last year, and he hit me up like, happy birthday. And I'm like, okay, thank you. And then he's like, so how are things? And I'm like, no, we're not. No, you broke up with me because of 13 miles. Like, no,
like,
we're not exploring
using
this.
like a birthday or a holiday as an in to start a conversation. Like, Merry Christmas. So how you been?
That's
like, I need an excuse to text them organically. It's Jesus' birthday. Let me hit him up with booty.
Yeah. If they're using it solely for the end, you gotta make a joke about it and be like, Merry Christmas, even though I know.
Am I right?
Yeah.
Those stupid Christmas people. Fucking Christmas nerds.
Hey, how you been? Yeah.
Have you ever gotten really drunk on a date? Because it seems like there's a pattern. Have you been drunker than the guy?
Yeah, I call those my relationships.
Yeah, just the whole time.
Yeah. Man, where are all my stories right now? I mean, I've definitely had sex on a frat bathroom floor.
We all have.
Have we?
A tale as old as time.
Definitely by my own volition and wanting, and definitely, like, my back on the ground. And then I went home alone later that night and crawled into my own bed and still never washed those sheets. I'm so gross.
You even washed those sheets.
I don't know what happened to them that was like college, so they existed. Okay. But I do have dirty sheets. I don't believe in washing them. I think it's a waste of fucking time and money.
Don't you have a joke about that?
I do.
I like that one.
I do. There was there were 2 stains in my bed for a long time, and it was nice. I was like, this is
a part of the room,
Mark, and this is Kevin, and this is, and I like having people come over, and that's my little secret. You know, like how actors have the character secret. That's my secret. Yeah. The lights are off. They can't see those 2 stains.
Earlier in June, with this girl I was seeing, like, laying in bed, just out of nowhere, she was like, when's the last time you washed these sheets? I'm like, clearly it's been too long.
Well, and because there are people who, like, sweat and, like, are, like, gross in sheets and, like, those do need to be, like, washed or whatever. I dated a guy. I was living in Hawaii for a minute, and oh, my God, this guy... Like, because, see, I feel like I don't have bad dates, but I just have bad experiences through sticking around with guys.
Yeah.
And
that's also called a relationship.
Yeah.
Well, this guy wouldn't call it a relationship, so fuck it. But because this guy, it was just like a hangout, friends with benefit, whatever. Mm. And, but God, I remember, like, we would go to sleep, and I'd be like, okay, he's been, like, working today. He worked in construction. And I was like, okay, like, you know, I guess he went surfing earlier, so he counted that as his shower. And you know when you, like, sleep next to someone for the first time, you would, like, kind of keep waking up because you're not used to, right? Every time I'd wake up throughout the night, the bed would get smellier and smellier. And, like, he also had a dog who was real gross, like gross, and like the dog would eat. It was like a puppy or a young dog, so it was still like learning things. Yeah. It would eat his underwear, and then he would have to pull it out of the dog.
Oh my God.
And yeah, I slept with this man. Why? I thought he was attractive at the time, but
Jesus Christ, pulled it out of the...
Yeah.
Which end?
Yeah. The back end.
Oh God!
Because it was like
I was like either.
Like it's eating it. You're pulling. No. Like
oh my God!
The dog would eat it when he was gone. He'd come back and like see it trying to poop and have to like pull it out.
Gross.
That was a little less gross. It'd be hilarious. Just that image of a guy pulling underwear out of a puppy's asshole, and it's like a clown sleeve. Where it's like, how much of this is there?
Yeah, I've dated guys who are way too attached to their animals, and it's weird. It's so weird.
I dated this girl, and like it was a big bed, but the dog would just kind of like stay in the bed when we, Yeah. And one time I was like, "Can you kick him off the bed?" And she didn't want him.
What was her reason? What did she say back?
I don't know. It was mid-sex. I didn't want to like. I was like, We'll unpack this later. But for the record, this is weird.
We'll unpack this later. What's weird to me is when I come over and you want to pet your animal more than you want to pet me. And I'm only here for 3 hours. Like, you live with that cat.
Animal. Yeah.
Fuck your cat, you know?
Power dynamic shifts.
So there's that guy. Who else was there? One of my favorite dates, and this is a testament to that saying that we really as women shouldn't push, but it's the truth, is that like if you're really hot, you can get away with anything.
It's so true.
It's so true
about it. Yeah.
Like, but it's like we don't want to like let you guys know that because then the hot guys will. But because then the guys who think that they're hot will try and get away with things that we're like, that's not okay, dude. I had a guy, like, this would have been one thing if we were like in high school. This is a 2-parter. First part.
Intriguing.
First part. I remember I was like, oh, let's grab a drink. And I meant like, let's go to a bar.
Yeah.
I remember he came and picked me up and had 2 Pabst Blue Ribbon tall boys and then took me to a park.
Oh, God.
And I was like,
that's
at night.
Very high school.
It's very high school, and it's very, I could get killed.
Yeah.
But he was so hot. Like,
that's how Ted Bundy got away with it, just for the record.
Yeah, I know. I am so, but when you have sexual tension for like a year, you know, and this is your shot, you say yes, you know?
Of course.
And so we hung out at a park, and then this was the night where we hung out at a park, That was where our first kiss happened. Then we're like, okay, let's actually go to a bar, and we went back to Abbott Kinney, and that's when I like flashed him. Drunk, lush,
this was
manic.
that guy.
Yeah. So there's
okay.
that. So it weaves in there. We tried to meet up with some friends of mine who were at a place called They were at a place called The Room or something.
Yeah.
And right on Abbott Kinney, there's a place called The Other Room. So we got confused. We went to the wrong place. It was basically this long night of like chasing Ubers down and kind of going around before realizing it was last call and we had to go home. Spent the night at my place. We didn't have sex. Ding, ding, ding. Great for me. Or, well, I don't know. Which was fine because I think the reason we did it was because we were both literally, like, I think I had just gotten out of a relationship, like, 2 days ago. And then I think he was...
Literally.
Yeah, and I think he was still in one. Like, I think it was, like, very, like, we shouldn't... Yeah, we probably shouldn't have done any part of tonight, but whatever.
Is this still Park guy?
This is the park guy,
okay.
yeah. And then flash forward, dude, some drunk amount of time, like maybe 6 months to a year. And we met up again, and we went to a bar this time, and I had been day drinking all day. And so I'm already like, at this point I'm like hungover, but still making bad decisions. And he had like a beer, and we were like, it was like the Academy Awards or something. Like some award thing was going on in Hollywood. I was like, let's go crash that. Let's go there. Let's just drive to Hollywood. And he was like, no, I'm not driving us to Hollywood. But we were like in his car. He's like, I'm not driving us to Hollywood. And then High School episode part 2 happens. But I remember sitting in his car and looking in the back, and there was like a TV. A TV.
In his car.
Yeah. And like some other things. And I was like, do you live in your car, dude? And he was like, no, I helped my mom move today. And I was like, okay. And he's like, actually. And then he takes the TV out of the car and just puts it on the side of the street. And I'm like, that's straight up littering, dude. Like, what? Like, but also I'm like, but yeah, it makes space for us, you know? And so he puts it on the side of the street, and I'm like, that's for sure littering. We mess around, and at the end, he's like, do you want these 2 gallons of detergent?
What?
And I say, of course. Yes, of course, because you don't
turn down free detergent.
No, you don't. And so I take these 2 gallons of detergent, and I walk back to my car. And I put him in my car, and I go home. And then I think, like, a few days later, he, like, ghosts me or something. He does something to piss me off. And I remember just going to my storage closet, ripping it open, taking the 2 detergents, clunking down to my dumpsters, and just throwing them. And they had I should have... And now, I'm like, that was the mistake.
That was irresponsible.
Yeah, I should have kept the
good,
detergent.
Though.
It felt real good.
Felt like a reckoning. And take this, Matthew. I don't need your fucking detergent.
Exactly. And then so we talked later at some point, and he's like, I drove back the night. He's like, I thought about what you said, and I drove back the next day because I felt bad for littering. But the TV was already gone, so.
Of course it was.
So to me, that's a really fun time in my life, but I'm sure someone else would be like, that's a horrible date, Olivia.
Oh, yeah. Those are the best where it was fun, but you're like, oh, that was objectively terrible.
Yeah, but he's so hot, so like,
exactly.
Who cares?
Yeah. That's the thing. There are those stories where if they were less attractive, it'd be a nightmare.
Yeah.
Like, oh, they're quirky.
Yeah, they're quirky.
Do you have any others?
I know the second I walk out of here, I'll be like, oh, there was...
like 20 more.
Yeah. I do a joke about this. So, this was one of those, like, end of the relationship. You're, like, trying to make it work. Are you the one with that joke? Maybe I have seen you. You're just trying to make it... No.
I don't know.
Okay, everything's a blur.
I have a lot of date jokes.
Okay.
And relationship jokes. So maybe, but I can't remember right now.
I'm like a dog where, like, I don't remember faces or names, but as soon as I hear someone's material, I'm like, I've seen them before.
Yeah.
I know you. Like, as soon as I get your scent, I'm like, I guess. But it was like a relationship that had been going on for like 2 years, and like all senses of capacity of like genuine start, but then it turned into like long distance, which then turns into on and off, which turns, it's just, we tried our best. He's a wonderful person who's still a good friend of mine, but at the end of the relationship, he had come to California. He was staying with me in Venice for like a few days, and we had a big thing about like one of the pinnacle problems of our relationship was lies. And I felt like I was a very honest person, and I don't like being lied to.
So most of the lies were him?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I was like painfully honest, which arguably, as I've learned, is not always the move either, to be like, hey, I just cheated on you. The dick is still inside me. Yeah, give it some time. Like,
Let him finish before you call me.
Yeah. So, and he, I think, was a mixture of, I don't know how or when to tell you, so I just won't. But when you ask questions about it, I'll lie about it.
Oh, gotcha.
So it was kind of like that kind of lying, and then like that leads to like finding other things out, like, you know, messages with other chicks.
Like opens the floodgates.
Yeah. So, you know, we had just come over that whole floodgate of like other people cheating, kind of lying stuff, and we were hanging out at the beach, and I noticed something, and I was like, what? And maybe this sounds weird in hindsight, but at the time it was like a very fragile time. I was like, what's that on the inside of your lip? And it turns out he had gotten a lip tattoo. I have a lip tattoo. And so, but like, it was weird that it never got brought up.
Yeah.
And he got it like a month prior or something. And ironically, the meaning behind the tattoo, he was like really into Viking stuff. And so it was I don't know if you guys know what runes are.
Yeah,
it was a rune that meant speak the truth. And I'm like, well, you didn't even do that. I just have to find out that what you got a tattoo. Like I'm not even mad that he had tattoos. I didn't care, but it was just like, how come that seems like kind of a big moment to not bring up to someone, like, right? Like it was it was a fragile time.
It's an ironic tattoo for him to get.
Oh yeah, speak the truth, Jesus. And so I was like kind of pissed about that, and then I'm like trying.
Was that a conversation? Were you like, did you tell him you were upset about that?
Oh yeah.
How did he react?
I think he was just like, I was waiting for the right time to tell you. And I'm like, why don't you just tell me when you got it? Like, it's a tattoo.
Big enough that you gotta wait for the right time.
Right. And it's also not small enough where it's like, you ate yogurt today? Like, it's just like...
How did you tell me?
Yes, it was weird. And also because of all the cheating stuff, I had been extra crazy and like, where are you? What are you doing? So it felt like, wait, so there was a time where you got a tattoo and I didn't know about it? Like, you know, it was very fragile, as we've said. So... I wasn't my best self, whatever. So that's kind of ruminating. We go back to my place, get ready to go to dinner. We go to this nice, we went to Rose Cafe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Which is like a trendy spot in Venice, like, kind of expensive. And we get a bottle of wine, and the more glasses I have, the meaner I get, and the more pissed I am about the tattoo and everything that's ever fucking happened, especially the cheating, all this stuff.
That's when it comes out.
Oh, yeah.
After a few too many glasses of wine.
Absolutely. And I remember this is the worst thing he did that day. We had this great pasta we were sharing, and we were like fighting at the table, and the server came by and be like, oh, is everything okay? And he was like, you can take the pasta away. It was the best pasta I ever had, and did you know how expensive that pasta? Like, I can't just go.
Well, I was just thinking of Rose Cafe. I'm like, they have pretty good pasta.
They have really good pasta.
Like, pretty damn expensive.
Yeah, so it's not like you can go order that for funsies. Like, you took away my pasta.
This is all I had left.
Yeah, like I wanted to package that for home. Like, so he did that, and I remember just being like, fuck you. And then we were leaving, and he put his hand on my hip to kind of lead me towards like, let's exit through this door, not that door. But I took that as like some sort of like possessive, aggressive move. So the second we got outside on the sidewalk, I just swung at his face.
Oh my god!
And
oh my god!
Because I thought he had put hands on me. I'm scrappy. People don't describe me as tough. I'm scrappy. And so I swung at his face.
Jesus.
We go around the corner. Like we're still fighting. I'm very drunk, obviously. We're fighting still. This is like also like still like daylight. And we go around the corner to walk home. I live very close to it.
Yeah.
And he's like trying to like not get hit again, and then I swing again. And I remember on the like after the swing, like naturally turning and seeing behind me. And there was this couple there, like total, like we're here to gentrify the neighborhood, like cute couple, and they were just mortified and like what?
And then they moved.
Well, yeah, I always like to think that like they didn't move into the neighborhood because of me. They're like, oh, this is still a sketchy area, but like. Yeah, I remember being like, in that moment, I was like, shit, are they going to call the cops on me? Like, and so I was like, we gotta go. And then we went to Salt and Straw. And everything was fine. And I apologize. He never pressed charges, thank God.
He just kept hanging after you tried to attack him.
Yeah.
Well, he was staying at my place because
so he had no choice.
Well, I mean, I guess if you really needed to, you could stay elsewhere.
Yeah.
I think we had just kind of been through so much, and that in my mind, like I didn't mind swinging because I am 5 foot and he was like 6'1" and
it's not like you were
big dude. Like I didn't think that I caused that much damage. I just thought I was just being like a 5-year-old throwing a fucking like tantrum. Yeah, and then the next day he was like, I'm a little cut up in the mouth, and I was like, oh shit.
You're like, are you sure it's not the fucking tattoo?
Yeah. I know, just like all on the inside, just like words about truth and honesty or something. No, I do feel bad. We've moved past it. I control my drinking now, but.
When was this? A few years ago? Yesterday?
This one.
And ever since she decided, I'm not going to be this person.
This was in the late summer of 2017, maybe.
Oh, okay. So a while ago.
Or 28. Yeah, it was a while ago. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Fun times, and we're really good friends to this day. It's
good. Yeah.
He's a good person.
Friendship can survive that.
Yeah, I think it survived because we took a year off from like communicating.
Yeah,
and I think that's
when you date someone but you become good friends. I feel like there has to be a break. You can't just immediately become good friends,
right? Because as soon as the other lives their life, it feels like a jab at you.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You said you're like really tight with your ex, Max. Was that immediately after the breakup, or was there?
It was a few months after.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Because we also worked together. And like
once again, back to that fucking work orgy.
I know. And it was just shifts of awkward, I accidentally bumped into, I'm gonna run away, and then also like asking my manager, like, is there any way you can put us on separate schedules? And she was like, I'm already on it. Oh, thank God.
How long did you two date?
4.5 years.
Wow.
That's a long time to be friends after just a few months.
Yeah.
I dated this girl for like 3 months, and she's like one of my best friends now, but we still needed like 3 months to like recover.
Yeah. Well, I'm proud of your maturity.
Yeah.
That is something I aspire to be.
I could never, I don't know, I'm not friends with anyone I dated for years.
Oh, yeah.
They all ended in disaster.
No, this is my one, like, I harp on him so well because we went through so much, but he's literally the only one I think I'm friends with. Because everyone else, like, for me, I usually leave pissed off, and this used to be that before social media was like extra, like you can update every second of your life in a video format. Like back when it was just like Facebook, what I used to do is like even if I dated a guy, I would block them afterwards, having this crazy neurotic mentality that like I don't want to see you get engaged one day. That's going to hurt too much. So I would just like block them.
I think it's an extreme way to look at it, but I think it's healthy in a way.
Yeah, because then
I'm cutting out of sight, out of mind.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's better than like looking at their Facebook every 2 minutes or something.
Yeah, and you ruminate on it.
Yeah, so it's an extreme way to do it, but I think it's the right move.
Yeah.
Maybe not blocking them, but at least unfriending them or unfollowing them or whatever.
Right, whatever, on each of these platforms
now there's
these
10
days.
of them,
Oh, God, so stressful.
Wow. Those were great.
Thank you.
There were a lot of them.
I feel like I'm going to think of like a million more by the time I
a few
hit the
more
door.
episodes.
Yeah.
Like
We can do a
Olivia
part 2.
7.
Oh. Sweet.
Well, congrats on your new relationship.
Thank you. Hopefully I don't punch him in the face.
Good, as you should. What's your Instagram?
I am at Free Sample Olivia.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm at Bell's Chills.
I'm at Mr. Drew Landry. Come to my monthly show at the LA Connection Comedy Theater every last Sunday of the month.
Do you have a regular show with Alyssa?
We do. We have Philanthropy TBD every second Wednesday at Sal's Comedy
Last
Hall.
one was awesome.
Yeah,
I finally went
thank you
to
for
it.
coming.
I feel bad because I kept on saying I would go, but then I couldn't. And then you finally had one on the west side, but it was like 2 days after I moved to the valley. I was like, damn it, you guys.
Now we're in a good central area in Hollywood.
It was an awesome show, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you so much for being here.
All right.
Thanks for having me.